Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another session in the Focal Point track. If you haven't met me yet in the Focal Point track so far this year's conference, my name is Michael Hovar. I am a delivery lead for PM Square. In that position, I wear many hats. One of them is helping to organize this conference. So what you have been enjoying throughout the day today is a product of a lot of people's hard work. I have the pleasure of being a part of that, and I hope you're enjoying yourself. So I wanted to take a step back from all of the many different app-related announcements you've been getting, and just remind you of all of the phenomenal giveaways that we have lined up for you guys this year. Thanks in part to our sponsors as well as PM Square funding behind those. So one of the coolest things that you have a chance of winning this year is our Bacon 2021 Grand Prize, which is an indoor-outdoor theater kit with projector, screen, and speakers. Valued at about $1,500. The best way to increase your chances of winning this is to make your way onto the leaderboard. And you do this by engaging as much as possible with all of the features of the Bacon 2021 event virtually. In particular, providing session feedback to each session is a great way to earn points and show up on the leaderboard. So every single session that you attend has a feedback questionnaire, and you can access that questionnaire either from the session info once the session has concluded, or you can go to the resources menu and access session feedback. If you want more information on all of the other giveaways, head over to the app homepage and you can see everything lined up there. This particular session actually has a giveaway that has been sponsored by Ingram Micro. One attendee at this session will be receiving a Nespresso machine valued at $250, which is a pretty cool gift. And everyone in attendance at this session will also receive one entry into the raffle for the IBM Grand Prize, which is a 14-piece travel collection valued at $1,000. So some really cool things going on. I hope that you're lucky enough to be one of those winners. Again, you can see all of the giveaways at the app homepage. I'm really pleased to introduce Kas Attanapola. He is Principal Product Manager for IBM Data and AI. He is responsible for bringing together the market landscape, design, and technology to nurture software from prototype to launch. His area of expertise include data visualizations, data science, geospatial mapping, and business intelligence. Kas is going to spend this session speaking to the future of enterprise analytics and how AI-infused solutions like CA are playing a critical role. And of course, since it is a roadmap, we'll get to look at what's coming in future releases of Cognos Analytics, because IBM wants to ensure that clients know how Cognos will align with their future plans and transformations. With that, I will hand it over to Kas.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Business Analytics Conference 2021. My name is Kas Attanapola, Product Management with IBM Cognos Analytics. And it's my pleasure to be here today to talk about the Cognos product, our vision and our strategy, and also to talk about our planned enhancements. All right, and in the agenda today, we will discuss Cognos' product vision and strategy, our execution and recent performance, top differentiators, and then we will finish off with discussing some planned enhancements and our roadmap. All right, so first let's talk about product vision and strategy. And I want to start off this discussion by speaking about the current challenges within BI and analytics. Now, we all know that tomorrow is not yesterday. Right? The world has fundamentally changed post-pandemic and the expectations of decision-making along with it. Faster pivots are now needed, requiring access to many data sources, accelerated time to insights, and more collaboration. There's also a serious risk and cost of multiple point solutions. And these economic pressures are now driving new decisions on the cost of analytics, and customers are streamlining vendors to fewer choices and looking for alternative licensing and deployment models. Essentially, customers are looking for tools that provide end-to-end analytics to keep their costs lower. And finally, there's still a heavy dependency on IT. So many companies hoping to scale their analytics culture are still blocked by a heavy reliance on IT to provide access to data, to tools, and to other sources of insights. Effective self-service then is still a large gap in the market that organizations are looking to fill. And these unmet needs represent a unique opportunity for the analytics and BI market and help us define our vision for the business. And our vision at Cognos Analytics is to become your AI co-pilot with an integrated, easy to manage, and extensible data and analytics platform powered by IBM Cloud Pak for Data. This is the next generation of BI. And a co-pilot needs to be able to move faster, be smart, look beyond what may just be visible, and do all of that with confidence. Now, like a reliable co-pilot, we're enabling customers to do more with the data they already have through AI-infused self-service and drive greater value by making significant investments in building advanced capabilities into every aspect of Cognos Analytics so that we elevate the productivity and effectiveness of our customers. And our message to our customers is that with Cognos Analytics, they can become faster and smarter, make decisions with confidence, and also see further and go beyond BI when needed. And over the last 12 months, we have relentlessly pursued our vision to be the co-pilot for business, integrated with Cloud Pak for Data, delivering across 3 themes or hills, making our customers faster and smarter, making our customers confident, and also helping our customers see further. Now, these 3 themes are central to how we approach our product development, and we believe are well suited to the needs of the business for today and tomorrow. At a high level, all of our AI-infused self-service features fall into the faster and smarter theme, and we've infused AI throughout the entire analytics lifecycle, as you may already know, making it faster and smarter and easier to prepare data, to analyze your data, find insights, and communicate them to your team, clients, and stakeholders. And as companies work to build up their data cultures, we need to ensure that people feel empowered and confident in using their data. And we continue to provide strong, flexible governance to ensure that data is always secure and insights are properly accessed by the right audiences. As such, platform capabilities like our enterprise governance, market-leading pixel-perfect reporting, the data science, and the API extensibility, all of this falls into the confident theme. These are all unique competitive advantages for Cognos as well, and we'll talk about that a bit later. Our last theme further is about facilitating greater collaboration between personas and functional roles in end-to-end data projects by going beyond BI. Now, for customers mature in their AI and BI lifecycle, we offer Cognos as a cartridge on Cloud Pak for Data, which allows them to reap the benefits of things like container management, data virtualization, AI and machine learning, planning, and more on a consolidated platform. On that note, let's move on to the next section, which is execution and performance. Starting with our latest in-market release, Cognos Analytics 11.2.0. And as the list on the screen shows here, we have packed several useful enhancements with this release. Highlights include an enhanced user experience consistent with all of our other data and AI portfolio offerings, new visualizations, significantly faster dashboard performance, and enhanced Watson Studio integration, just to name a few. And there's been a lot of excitement and positive feedback around our last few AI-infused Cognos releases as well. And tangible evidence of IBM executing on our strategy can be seen both internally and externally. So recent third-party awards and recognitions include being named a leader in the latest BARC Enterprise BI and Analytics Platform Report, being named an exemplary vendor in 3 of Ventana's market reports, where we were ranked first in the overall analytics and data report, as well as the embedded analytics and data report. We're also doing extremely well in crowdsourced product assessments. TrustRadius recently gave Cognos the top rating based solely on user feedback and satisfaction scores, while Gartner named us a 2021 Gartner Peer Insights Customer's Choice for Analytics and Business Intelligence Platforms. And Peer Insights ratings show Cognos with one of the highest willingness to recommend at 89%, and a rating of 4.5 out of 5 for product capabilities based on the reviews submitted. So some amazing wins here. And we believe that this represents strong ongoing momentum in the market. And we're super excited to build on these wins to provide even better capabilities to our customers. And before we dive into the roadmap, I also want to spend a few minutes talking about Cognos' top differentiators and why investing in Cognos will give you and your organization a competitive edge. The first differentiator I want to discuss today are our AI-infused self-service differentiators. And I want to talk about our AI-assisted decision flows. A key differentiator for our AI is the fact that it's part of the platform and the fact that it's infused everywhere from data prep to AI-driven insights in consumption mode. Now, as a result of that integrated approach, we're able to layer our AI capabilities to create AI-assisted decision flows that significantly accelerates time to insight, making you faster and smarter. So for example, a user can get started with a data relationship visualization, then organically layer in things like automated insights, conversational analytics, advanced forecasting, and what if scenario modeling to get to data-driven decision-making faster and smarter. Users can also create fully populated dashboards by simply asking the assistant to do so, right? With drivers, keywords, filters, and so on, defined in the original statement. This significantly accelerates time to insight for our customers as well. Our AI also learns user preferences over time and offers a more personalized analytics experience that helps with user adoption and, again, faster time to insight. And finally, should our users ever need a bit of help, our Cognitive Learn pane provides contextual support powered by Watson Discovery to surface things like guides, documents, and even videos directly within the product. Another unique competitive advantage that we do really, really well and competitors fail to match is our enterprise reporting capability. Now, of course, ad hoc dashboards are great and can have tremendous value. However, we know that mission critical reporting needs enterprise grade capabilities. And our customers run their entire business on Cognos reports, and we continue to evolve this capability with every release. Even those who have invested in other self-service BI tools turn to Cognos for pixel-perfect reporting. We can confidently say that we have the most robust built-in reporting capability in market that allows users to share insights by bursting it to any number of users in multiple formats with different filters and in any language. Moving on to another competitive advantage. While we believe in the benefits of democratizing insights through self-service, it's still important to make sure that organizations meet security, regulatory, and compliance standards through a robust governance architecture. Cognos has been and continues to be the market leader in this space with extremely granular governance rules that scale. And another significant advantage for us is our integration with our enterprise containerized platform, Cloud Pak for Data. And this platform of composable services and cartridges allow us to extend both the data and AI capabilities of Cognos, essentially to +1 all of our Cognos capabilities. Capabilities like open data connectivity, analytics and knowledge catalog, data virtualization, and a suite of other governed AI tools allow users to develop and assemble very sophisticated applications. Application cartridges for vertical use cases like retail supply chain demand planning, horizontal use cases like data privacy and protection are constructed using these services with pre-built data models, workflows, and user interfaces. And what you see here is an actual screenshot from our Cloud Pak for Data sales configurator showing Cognos selected from the Infused section along with other platform services. And what you see here is Cognos right at the back there in the Infused layer, along with a whole bunch of other platform services and capabilities. All right, and now for the final half of the presentation, let's talk about our roadmap and plan enhancements. Here's a quick legal disclaimer. Want to call out that everything you will see from here on are plans as of today, which can change, and also some of the designs are mock-ups and are not finalized, and that they may look different in production. But let's start with a quick pricing and licensing update. We offer Cognos Analytics and a variety of feature parity deployment options today, from traditional on-premise and SaaS to our hybrid data and AI platform, Cloudpack for Data. And on cloud, you can get started for free with the trial and move to a paid tier seamlessly. Users can onboard our cloud service starting at a very competitive $10 per month per user. And it's important to note that this entry-level tier offers authoring capabilities as well as data prep capabilities, which is very appealing to business users at this price range. Now, given that we are in a commoditized and saturated market, our goal is to compete very aggressively on price and augmented capabilities with the market leaders. And we're planning to release a $5 per month mobile tier with chatbot and Q&A capabilities where users can build visualizations and pinboards using the assistant to get to insight quickly. From a product point of view, in the months and years ahead, we are relentlessly pursuing our vision to be the co-pilot for business, and our future investments and innovations are going to revolve around enabling people to be faster and smarter, go further, and also be confident in their decisions. Now, you can see a number of these items on the slide and how they will help our users in these areas. And in the coming slides, we'll talk about a handful of these things that are already in development in the lab, starting with automated data stories from search. Now, I mentioned before that our vision for the future of Cognos Analytics is all about enabling our users to be faster and smarter, to feel confident, and be able to see further by leveraging AI. Now, we're investing heavily in continuously removing barriers and making it easy for people to find valuable insights to drive their business forward. And one area we're excited for is elevating the conversational analytics experience in Cognos Analytics by enabling any user to create data stories from search. And essentially, the goal here is to allow the user to start from a blank slate using conversational analytics. The user will simply ask Cognos a business question. We will then provide an answer and build on that question with other insights relevant to the initial question. And finally, summarize the end result of this interaction in the form of a data story by arranging these insights into a story format with the appropriate NLG and visuals. Now, that animation may have gone a bit too quickly, so here's a recap of what this may look like. Essentially, you type in your question, get a result directly in the assistant, just like you would with Google, for example. And then from there, you can ask follow-on questions and get to your final insight. Once the analysis is complete, you can get the assistant to summarize and create a data story from the conversation you just had with the system. And that created data story is easily shareable to other stakeholders and colleagues in your organization. And of course, there are multiple ways to get started as well. You can also launch the assistant directly from a dashboard. It will automatically inherit the context of the chart that invoked it, so you can ask more questions on the chart and also the underlying data. Another roadmap item is to provide more personalized analytics with smarter AI. In the product today, our machine learning engine learns about user preferences as they do things like selecting a particular visualization type. And there are other opportunities that we'll be pursuing, such as allowing users to rate content and let us know if the suggested visualizations, data set, or content was or was not helpful. And this will allow the product to further understand user preferences and needs, and then recommended tailored content more relevant to the end user. Now, while learning user preferences for each user is important to provide a tailored experience, our customers can also benefit from subject matter expert in the organization training the AI system using best-of-breed exemplars. So this means that we can assign folders to groups of users to learn their behavior, to better recommend types of content they will likely be interested in, as well as more lower level detailed items such as data formatting, visualizations, and layouts, and so on. Now, what's important to note here is that this was an idea that one of our customers suggested, and we immediately infused that as part of our roadmap, and we're super excited to make our systems faster and smarter by training on best-of-breed exemplars and also by learning from subject matter experts. Something else that we're working on in the lab is what we call goal seeking. This will essentially enable a user to select a target business outcome, and the product will identify the various inputs that drive the outcome and what the required changes would be in the underlying values to these drivers to meet that specified target. In the example you see on the screen, the target is to increase revenue by 15%. In this case, Cognos Analytics will build a machine learning model on the fly to determine that this target can be realized provided the identified mix of products change their values by the specified amounts. And this capability will essentially give users more clarity and flexibility to see further as they're doing their scenario modeling to identify what can drive desired outcomes. And just as drivers deeply trust their co-pilots to guide them, people need to trust their data if they want to become more data-driven. And something we're working on in the labs is called data profiling. And data profiling is something that a number of products in the market do today. In fact, Watson Analytics had data profiling and provided users with a data quality score. We're planning to build out on this work to not only show scoring of data quality, identify missing values, mixed values, and so on, but analyzing the data and providing a score based on the real analytic quality of that data. In other words, to provide users with relevant stats about their data. What are things that can potentially affect the downstream analytics outcomes in their dashboards, reports, or elsewhere? And most importantly, suggest actions to help address them. And to that end, we're also working on semantic concepts, right? So we're also making it easier for people who are less comfortable dealing with data by leveraging semantics. Users with the right permissions will be able to modify and add associations to train the AI engine that powers most of the AI capabilities in Cognos Analytics. We know that many organizations have a vocabulary or a collection of terms that is either industry focused or has evolved over time to become the language of business for their company. And having the ability to train the AI engine to recognize and understand this language of business will ensure that users can use language and terms that they're accustomed to using to get more relevant and faster insights when interacting with Cognos Analytics. Once defined, these concepts and terms can be applied across any number of data sources and assets. All right, embedding third-party content. We know that most organizations have more than one BI tool. Many of the large organizations have many tools spread throughout their departments, whereas some of these other tools may have elements like specific visualizations or gestures that the users are very fond of. Having silos of information and potentially different versions of that same data is neither efficient nor sensible. So we have an opportunity here to be a binding agent for customers using many of these other tools. So to that end, we're working on methods to allow users to embed visualizations and assets from competitive tools like Tableau, Power BI, Microsoft Excel directly into their Cognos dashboards. This will accelerate the content creation process by allowing users to reuse existing assets they already have. It will also provide a consolidated view of their content with a familiar interactivity that they expect, while providing the measure of governance and security that some of these other tools are lacking today. Moving on to our integration with Watson Assistant, the AI assistant, which we have in the product today, which is the core of our NLP capabilities, was always designed to be extensible. That is to say, extensible both in the sense that you could train the ontology to customize the experience, but also that it would be possible to integrate with other services to extend the core capabilities. Now, we are partnering with Watson Assistant to leverage Watson APIs and services to provide the best conversational analytics experience possible. Users will be able to simply pose a question, whether it's related to their Cognos data or not, and the request will be routed to all of the Watson services that are enabled. The service with the highest confidence level of providing an accurate answer will then respond. The AI assistant will then display that response in place with no additional actions required. And this will basically enable users to get faster insights to answer their business questions. Now, in this case, what you see here on the screen is a Watson Assistant chatbot that was trained on COVID-19, so we can see answers to COVID-19 related questions being answered by Watson Assistant, which is then surfaced directly through the Cognos Assistant user interface. Moving on to our next roadmap item, in version 11.1.7, we added a powerful capability to enable business users to do some fast and easy what-if scenario modeling right in the dashboard. They could very quickly model out some scenarios and see the projected outcomes through a visualization. And this is an important feature as the output can be easily consumed by end users, and it's part of the dashboard, so it could be shared broadly. In the year ahead, we'll be extending this capability to enable them to publish these scenarios to planning analytics with the click of a button to use them as a starting point for more advanced scenario modeling and forecasting. And this basically, brings in the Cognos capabilities and combines them with planning analytics with the planning capabilities, and also will speak to a better together a story here as well. We have existing integration with Watson Knowledge Catalog today, and we want to tighten up the integration here as well. So we're focusing on things like extending our lineage glossary capabilities to Watson Knowledge Catalog and so on. We also want to integrate further with Cloud Pak for Data. This means integrating more with base services and tighten up existing touch points. We have already moved to a consistent look and feel as of 11.2.0. And we will further improve our experience here as well. From an architecture point of view, we're moving towards a microservices-based architecture on the platform to ensure maximum availability and embeddability. We'll also be extending our governance capabilities into Cloud Pak for Data. And what we've just covered is really just a handful of items we're working on. There's a number of other features and capabilities in the works, such as multivariate forecasting to provide users with the most accurate forecast possible, collaborative authoring to enable multiple users to combine efforts to build out and develop dashboards together. Really relevant given that much of the workforce has shifted to virtual models now. And then Watson Auto Translation of dashboards and reports to enable users from anywhere in the world to consume their content in the language of their choosing. And we're not working alone. Many of our innovations are not only driven by customer needs, but also supported by IBM research. Some examples of projects we worked on together are Watson NLP in the cognitive learn pane to enable multi-language conversational BI and to make the assistant a lot smarter. Things like time series analysis and time awareness. We're investigating using deep learning for multivariate forecasting. We worked on automatic ontology summarization, which includes automatically summarizing domain-specific ontologies and mapping them to a business analytics ontology used in Watson Discovery. And also things like sequence prediction, which is to predict the most suitable next action based on what the user had done so far and the state of their data and their dashboard. Finally, I want to say that our team has never been more aligned, energized, or excited about the future of Cognos Analytics. We'll continue to use our 3 product teams to help group features into meaningful innovations and releases and to drive value to our customers. And I can assure you that we are committed to our vision to make our users faster, smarter, and to go further with the trust and confidence to face whatever challenges tomorrow may hold. And on that note, I'd like to conclude today's presentation. Thank you very much for your time and the opportunity to speak here.
Thank you, Kaz. That was a great presentation. I did have a few questions that came in while you were speaking, so I'll actually pop them up on the screen here. I've added them as banners. So first off, will there be an environment tuner analysis so that configuration is optimized? I think this came in when you were discussing let's see, that was, I'm going to recall here now. Look at my notes. I believe this came in during the AI trainers portion of the talk.
No, not right now. Nothing in the plans as yet, but something we're definitely exploring in the labs, but nothing in the short-term roadmap for now.
Okay. And the individual who raised that question, if you have any clarifying statements around that, feel free to insert them, and I'll bring those in as well. So referring to the data profiling, after data profiling, will the AI suggest fixes?
Absolutely, that is sort of the end goal. There are certain sort of default actions that we could take if for missing items or null values or zeros, what have you, or for example, if a geospatial data item is not in the proper format. So there are certain things we could do automatically. So we'll try and highlight those and also suggest a fix through AI. And absolutely, that is sort of the end goal, is to make that process a lot faster and smarter over time. So we'll start with some basic capabilities, and then we'll sort of add to it over time, and we'll learn from the actions that a certain user takes as well. So the next time you sort of, we observe that pattern and you're sort of doing a certain data cleansing step, we'll try and suggest that the next time around. So the system will learn also.
Okay, great. Next question up here. Will it be possible to set complex goals? I think this is back to the goal seeking. In other words, if a sales goal and a margin goal both exist in unison, will analysis be provided to achieve both?
Absolutely. I mean, we're certainly looking at this. We are sort of debating on, do we make that part of Cognos analytics, or do we sort of depend on another IBM technology like decision optimization or even planning analytics, where you kind of go from goal seek to what if, and then decision optimization to even take further constraints into account and suggest prescriptively what you need to do. But certainly our starting point would be to create an ML model on the fly on the browser, and that'll help you do some quick goal seeking directly in your dashboard or report or within the exploration interface. And of course, if you need to take it further, for now we have IBM decision optimization, for example, that can do this. So we are debating between, do we go with that integration, or do we sort of build it within Cognos and go down that path? But for now, in the short-term roadmap, it will be sort of that browser-based goal seeking that you saw as a POC.
Okay, sure. Another question that came in, will it be possible to save the data found with goal seek analysis?
It's certainly worth looking at. I mean, obviously, we're still sort of in the roadmap phase. So, I'll have to go in and check the requirements to see, touch base with our Smarts OM just to make sure that that's part of the requirements. But certainly something I can take back to the labs. But I think for now, what we're doing is just on the browser, because the machine learning model is built on the fly, at least in the POC. There's no saving of that data. But certainly something worth looking into. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or just send me an email, I can follow up and get back to you on this.
Okay. Questions are coming in faster and faster now. Will AI trainers have access to reset or remove AI learnings based on undesired behavior?
Right now, you have sort of a wholesale on and off capability for AI, and then of course in the roadmap, we have the ability to sort of assign, as you know, as I showed, folders, certain assets, and also assign SMEs and assign subject matter, best of breed exemplars to learn from. Um, Typically, the AI in the system learns something on save. So if you don't save a function, we wouldn't sort of record that. The AI wouldn't record that as an action. So we have that right now. But certainly as the AI learning builds, we will have to come up with a way to sort of unlearn things as well. But for now, learning is on save. So if you were to try a couple of things, all of that wouldn't be registered. On save, it will register what change you made. So there is a way to do that already. And then of course, as we improve our AI learning in the product, this is something we can consider as well. But we got to make sure we do this in a way that makes sense. Especially the unlearning part of it, in a way that makes sense to the end user.
Sure. Okay. Here's a fun one. Are there any plans to consolidate the many studios?
Yes, absolutely yes. So we're looking at ways on. So right now, you have your dashboarding and reporting, which is fine. They have two different use cases, two different personas that we go after with sort of the professional report author and sort of the self-service business user. But we have sort of the Explorer, the smart side, which is for sort of, just to play around with your data as a sandbox. And we are thinking currently, again, nothing in our short-term roadmap, which is why I didn't present it, but we're certainly thinking of ways to sort of infuse all of those Explore capabilities directly into dashboarding, or infuse dashboarding and Explore directly into that data storage component. So everything is now sort of conversational analytics based, and the AI would be sort of infused and surfaced as you go. The advanced visualizations will be surfaced as you go based on the question that you ask. And then finally, you can consolidate and summarize them all together in the form of a story or a dashboard or, whatever it is. So I think that data stories, roadmap item that we talked about, that's sort of going to be our binding agent to consolidate, the ad hoc dashboarding, the Explorer, the sandbox, and so on into this one conversational analytics based insights engine. And then the idea is you ask a question, get an answer, and then you kind of put them together in a dashboard or story. So you kind of bypass a whole bunch of manual dashboard creating steps and sort of manual data insight steps.
Okay, sure. All right, next question that came up, and I apologize, I haven't organized these into categories, they're kind of all over the place, but you mentioned governance support coming. What are a couple of those, or can you elaborate on that at all?
I'm not sure what you mean by a governance support. Now, of course, enterprise governance is pretty much our bread and butter, and it's part of our platform, which means all of the self-service capabilities, the data storage capabilities, all the new AI features that we build would inherit all of those governance capabilities. We'll be extending that governance capability to the platform integration as well. And I'm talking about Cloud Pack for Data, so things like Watson Knowledge Catalog and so on. So we're going to extend our governance capabilities, or we'll pick up some of those governance capabilities from the platform and bring it over to Cognos. But in general, we have a robust governance architecture, and all of the new capabilities that we add on top of the product would be based off of that foundation. So you wouldn't have to worry about permissions or governance or losing trust and security in your data.
Okay. This one's returning to the question just prior so about the consolidation of the studios. Will that consolidation of those studios follow through on the mobile app?
So right now we have two mobile apps. One is sort of the reporting app, which is the legacy app. If you look at the new application, we're not doing a sort of a lift and shift of the desktop app onto the mobile app. So what you have right now in the new mobile app is basically our assistant, the ability to ask questions from your data, get an answer. You can pin that to your pin board. So we have a different sort of concept in the mobile app, because in our conversations with customers, a lift and shift of the desktop application onto the mobile app wasn't a good map. It wasn't a good fit. It was just too complicated. didn't really fit the use case of a mobile user. So we have a slightly different experience in the mobile app. We don't have all the studios that we expose in the desktop app, which means you can't go in and create a dashboard. You can view a dashboard and it'll sort of be responsive and you'll kind of see the visualizations that you created. Having said that, we don't expect a mobile user to go in and create a dashboard within a mobile app. So we have this pinboards concept in the new mobile app where you can ask a question, get an answer, pin that to your pinboard, and you can have various different pinboards. You can set alerts on it. And we have this pinboard concept in the mobile app versus some of the standard studios that you get on the desktop app.
Okay. Here's another interesting one. What are the plans for integrating PA and CA in one portal?
So we have a lot of plans to integrate Cognos Analytics and Planning Analytics. I wouldn't say we're going to integrate it in one portal. We looked at it a while back, but it seems like there's going to be a lot of dev work to integrate it into a single portal. But having said that, we're certainly investigating various different glide paths to go from sort of what if to what's next, from Cognos Analytics to Planning Analytics. So we're defining some of those glide paths between the two platforms first. And then at some point down the line, if it makes sense to sort of integrate the two, then so be it. But having said that, we are now building off of a single code base. So you'll find the same visualization engine in both Cognos and Planning Analytics, the same sort of dashboarding technology between Cognos dashboards and Planning Analytics workspace. The same mapping technology would be infused across both Cognos and Planning. So we're certainly getting there. But for now, in the short term, we're leading with glide paths and use cases. And then at some point down the line, we might think of sort of consolidating it into a single portal if it gets to that point. But for now, glide paths.
Okay, makes sense. All right, here's another question. You mentioned third-party charts. Does it mean that we'll be able to embed, say, a Tableau chart inside Cognos, or that Cognos could use a Tableau chart and drag and drop data items onto it?
So for now, it's all about sort of embedding a Tableau chart within Cognos Analytics. Obviously, making a Tableau chart available within Cognos. We can't do that because we just don't have access to Tableau's visualization technology, of course, to do that. But having said that, if you want to extend your visualization library in Cognos, we support custom visualizations and schematics. So if you want to build a custom visualization as a developer, you can start with D3 or any JavaScript-based visualization base, and then go to our documentation, Cognosify it by changing certain JavaScript files and TypeScript files so that it works with the Cognos data layer. It the brushing and the filtering, etc. works. Basically, just do up a bunch of code changes to make sure the visualization behaves just like an out-of-the-box viz. And this is sort of a developer-based function to go in and create the viz. You can test it in a sandbox, and then once the viz is built, you export it and you upload it as a zip file directly into Cognos, and then you can use custom visualizations that way. But the third-party charts we talked about was, as far as Tableau is concerned, is sort of embedding a Tableau chart. It was built in Tableau directly in Cognos. But, there's also an opportunity for us to bring any third-party visualization library into Cognos through custom visualizations. And I believe PM Square, you guys have created a number of tutorials. You guys have created a number of visualizations as well. So I would say, reach out to PM Square. They've done a lot of great work on bringing custom visualizations, creating custom visualizations for Cognos, visualizations that are not available out of the box. So there's a couple of ways to do this. Great.
That actually goes kind of hand in hand with this next question here. So you've somewhat answered it already, but are there any new visualizations in the hopper, so to speak?
Yeah, there's a number of visualizations in sort of the pipeline right now that we want to bring in. We introduced a few in 11.2.0 as well, such as box charts. I'll double check. I get back to you on the race bar chart. I'm not sure if that's in the short-term roadmap. But having said that, any chart that's not available out of the box could be easily built now. If you have access to a developer with JavaScript knowledge, you can go in and find this visualization, open source, D3, what have you, follow our documentation, create some, do some code changes, Cognosify it, And then once you upload it to a self-service business user, the behavior is identical to an out-of-the-box chart. So that's a quick and easy way to get some of these charts. And of course, talk to PM Square as well. And also we have our accelerator catalog that has a number of visualizations that are also not available out of the box yet that we can leverage.
Okay. Next up, is there a release date for the active report on-prem reader?
I'll get back to you on that. I'll have to check with our reporting product manager, but whoever asked that question, if you could send me a quick email or just a LinkedIn mail, I can get back to you on ETA on that.
Okay. How about this one? For on-premises install, can we disable some of the engines that we don't need to reduce startup, RAM usage, and footprint?
I believe you can. I'm not 100% sure on obviously it's an it depends question. But again, something I can follow up. So if you can just send me a question with more details on, what things you are looking to sort of, turn off, I can get back to you on that one as well.
Okay. Another attendee just simply asked about the future of power plays.
Future of power play?
Mm-hmm.
No, obviously it's not a studio that we're investing in right now, but at the same time, it's going to be available as a legacy studio in the product until we announce deprecation to it.
Okay. And that leads directly into another popular question that I've been holding in my back pocket here. It's been upvoted a couple times. What is the future of Framework Manager?
So it's another one of those legacy studios. I mean, obviously, for new customers, we encourage them to go with data modules. But at the same time, we understand that Framework Manager has a number of advantages that data modules cannot provide today. So the guidance is, if you're starting with new projects, try and use data modules. There's no sort of deprecation plan for Framework Manager because we understand a lot of customers are using it. There are certain capabilities that haven't been fully migrated over to data modules. So until those gaps are covered off, and every single one of those gaps are covered off, Framework Manager will still be supported, and no plans there to deprecate it. But at the same time, it's not getting modernized. But having said that, until we cover those gaps off with data modules, it will continue to live on as a legacy studio.
Sure, that makes sense. Okay, we have actually managed to deplete our backlog of questions there. I'll pause here just briefly and see if any additional come in. But barring that, Kaz, wanted to thank you for your time. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Well, I mean, other than, we are pushing hard on these, the three pillars, right? Infusing AI. And of course, we're working closer and closer with sort of the IBM R&D team, infusing a lot of Watson technologies into the product. That's part of our sort of go forward strategy to infuse a lot of AI into the product. As you know, we're, in the news, the NLP capabilities, Q technologies, some of the R&D we're doing around AI, the Watson group's doing, we're working closely with the research team to infuse that into our product. And of course, all of this will be built on our governed and scalable foundation. And the other thing that we're working on is sort of integrating with the platform so our customers can go beyond simple BI use cases, right? So we understand, an investment in BI is enterprise BI technology like Cognos is a long-term investment. And, in most cases, you might start with BI, just enter with BI, but you might want to scale out to, different vertical and horizontal use cases. If that's the case, we want to make sure that you can integrate Cognos into the rest of the data and AI portfolio, bring in, various different knowledge catalogs, bring in your AI, your machine learning, your planning, your decision optimization, basically infuse Cognos strongly in end-to-end data projects with our data and AI portfolio, and sort of, get our organizations, get our customers successful with all of their data projects end-to-end with IBM technology. So that's something we're working on in parallel as well, on top of improving our core BI capabilities.
Okay, great. We do have two more quick questions that just came in, so I'll go ahead and pose those to you if you don't mind. One was regarding browser support, specifically Chrome and Edge for the legacy studios.
So 11.2.0 doesn't have IE support. We deprecated our support for IE, obviously, because the browser is getting deprecated there. So Firefox only for now. We're exploring Chrome support for a couple of studios, but Firefox only for now. That'll be the safe bet for legacy studios.
Okay. And then one more here is there a published roadmap anywhere that Cognos users can review as the year goes on to see updates or new items?
Yeah, so we have a public roadmap on AHA, and we can, I can post the link, Michael. I can send that to you, and maybe we can send that out to our attendees here. But
yeah,
yes, we have a public-facing roadmap. Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right, I believe that's all I'm seeing here. So yeah, I kind of want to thank you for your time, Kaz. If anyone didn't get their questions answered, do feel free to reach out to either of us. PM Square will also be aggregating any questions that we come across. We'll be saving off all of the Q&A. And if we find anything that appears like it didn't get answered, we'll try to address those in newsletters coming up. So don't be too concerned if you didn't get a response right away. We'll try to get those addressed.
Excellent. Thanks so much, everyone.
All right. So quickly before we go here, I do want to dive into just a couple little housekeeping items. So we do have a couple of suggested sessions that I want to make. If you don't know where you're going to be heading next after this session. So first off, if the latest trends in data architecture are of interest to you, you definitely don't want to miss the upcoming session on data mesh presented by PM Square. Can data mesh fix your data mess? It's going to be presented by Mike DeGoys and Ryan Dolly, our VP of Operations and our VP of Technology. So that's definitely going to be an exciting presentation. I'm looking forward to it myself. Also offered at the same time, we have a partner, CloudCheckr, is here at the conference to present on CloudCheckr cost management. So regulating your costs in the cloud with CloudCheckr. So also an interesting presentation coming up. And then also you may be interested in booking some time with our Genius Bar. The next Cognos Genius Bar is tomorrow at 10 Eastern. So if you have some specific organizational questions, concerns, problems with your implementation, or just something that you want to bounce off of an expert, definitely book some time. You can go to our agenda for directions on how to book an appointment for that. And then tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, I want to call out for our Cognos users. Our own Rory Cornelius is going to be providing a hands-on lab on creating custom visualizations in Cognos. As Kaz referenced previously, that's part of our bread and butter that we offer. So definitely want to attend that session. You'll actually walk away from that. You'll work through working with a custom visualization live with Rory in the lab, and you'll actually get to walk away from that workshop with your own custom visualization. So that's pretty cool. And lastly, after the next session of presentations, whichever one you attend, I do want to encourage everyone to stick around for the final half hour of our programming today for the Bacon Hangouts. It's your chance to stop listening and actually take part in active group conversations on essentially any topic you want. So if you go over to the community tab and go to meetups and virtual meets, you can see there a long list of proposed meetings that people have made. Some of the cool features about Huva is the ability for you as an attendee to actually self-organize and meet up with other people in interest groups. But if you're looking for one specifically, PM Square is going to be hosting 5 Bacon Hangouts during that final half-hour period after the next presentation. And we definitely encourage you to join in one of those conversations. There are some interesting ones. Again, for our Cognos users, we're going to have one with our own Cognos Paul on stretching the limits of Cognos. So that should be an interesting talk if you're looking for something specifically. So I want to thank everyone again, and special thanks to Kaz for being here, for sharing with us, for answering our questions. Thanks, and I hope everyone has a great rest of the evening.
Thanks, folks. Bye, Michael.